Hello, my name is Kathleen, and I live on the Gulf Coast of Southwest Florida. My story began in 2019 when I was misdiagnosed with Parkinson's disease, finding out in 2023 that I have a rare neurodegenerative disease called Progressive Supranuclear Palsy, or PSP, was devastating. PSP is a particularly insidious disease. I'm sharing my story to raise awareness for PSP and all atypical Parkinsonisms. By doing so, we hope to help others navigate the complex process of getting a diagnosis sooner and proper care as early as possible. Our efforts may not help those of us who live with PSP now, but it gives hope for the future of others. No one should walk alone with this horrible disease. PSP is one of the atypical Parkinsonisms, a rare handful of horrible diseases that are often misdiagnosed as Parkinson's disease in the early stages. These diseases all share some of the Parkinson's symptoms, but are far more aggressive, leading to rapid disease progression and death. For some of these diseases, there are diagnostic tests that make diagnosis easier. Unfortunately, PSP is not one of them. Diagnosis for PSP, in my case, was figuring out what it wasn't. After ruling out a lot of other diseases, PSP is the most probable. I'm donating my brain so that my family will have a definitive cause of death, and that by studying my brain tissue, perhaps we'll be closer to finding a cure. My life now is so very different. My world has become much smaller. I've learned to adapt to an ever-changing set of physical challenges. Things I used to be able to do are no longer easy and occasionally just downright frightening, but it's worth trying. Ask anyone who's watched me wielding a sharp chef's knife or using power tools in the kitchen. Pain is something I no longer ignore. The severe dystonia in my neck and in my feet is a big part of the pain cycle. I had hoped that Botox injections would ease things, but after a year of injections, it took higher doses and no longer gave me the relief. I use an upright walker most of the time to keep from falling. My balance and staggering gait are getting worse. Falls are becoming more frequent. I do get pool exercise every day because falling in water does not hurt. My vision is now locked in what appears to be a vacant stare, and I'm constantly turning my head to see. I have what's called vertical gaze palsy, one of the critical symptoms in a PSP diagnosis. My PSP diagnosis came from a neuro-ophthalmologist initially. My eyes are just no longer able to look up or down and barely move side to side. I struggle with making eye contact, so I appear disinterested in most things. I'm actually very interested in what's going on around me. My eyes are hypersensitive to light, so I wear tinted glasses most of the time, even indoors. The glasses also mask the fact that my eyes appear to be looking in different directions sometimes. Add my often expressionless facial masking, it makes me look either mad or completely checked out. The rose-colored glasses are kind of a bit of irony. My voice is quieter, often slurred. Sometimes I can't keep a cadence and run out of breath while speaking. I struggle in conversations. I hear and understand everything that's being said and can't find the right words to respond. Believe me, I still have a lot to say. It's just delayed in its delivery. I couldn't do this alone. I'm blessed with the support of my husband, Michael, my friends and family, and my PSP online support group that meets on Thursdays. These wonderful people come from all over the globe and share and encourage each other so that no one will ever walk alone with this disease. I've also learned a lot from them. No is an acceptable answer, and that ice cream for breakfast will always make life better. Despite all that is happening to my brain and my body, I live each day in gratitude. I have good days and we take advantage of those and do the things we love. It takes me longer to recover from the good days now. On the bad days, I listen to my body and I rest. We take it as it comes. It's harder every day to fight being erased by a disease that is such a mystery. I'm no longer explaining to those who offer comments like, "You look great, you sure it isn't something like blah, blah, blah?" No amount of yoga, positive thinking, or herbal remedies will change the fact that PSP is claiming small bits of me even on the best of days. And yes, I do everything I can to make life as good as possible. Now I share my good days with a smaller circle of humanity than ever before. Fortunately, they've seen me at my worst and didn't turn away. These people dig in deeply, willing and able to walk beside me, sharing their light until I can find mine again. I don't want my legacy to be a topic of brief conversations. I want it to be the loud beat of a drum. As long as that drum beats, there's hope for the future. Here are some quick facts. Progressive Supranuclear Palsy, or PSP, is a rare neurodegenerative disease. There's no known cause or cure. It is fatal. Life expectancy is typically 6 to 9 years after onset of symptoms. My symptoms started in 2018 as I look back. There are no clinical tests for PSP. Diagnosis can take months or years to finally get a probable diagnosis. Exact diagnosis is only confirmed after death during autopsy. It affects areas of the brain that control balance and gait, eye movement, speech, swallowing, and executive function. Personality changes are very common. On average, symptoms begin in the early 60s, but may start as early as in the 40s. PSP is slightly more common in men than women. Little is known about which geographical, environmental, occupational, or genetic factors might hold the answers. There are about 8 to 10 subvariants in progressive supranuclear palsy. Each variant has some unique symptoms that often aren't experienced by the others. Despite the differences in how they present, the outcome and the treatment is much the same. Here's some numbers. PSP is considered rare, affecting 6 to 10 individuals per 100,000, with about 30,000 cases in the United States. These numbers are likely underestimates due to frequent misdiagnosis of Parkinson's disease or frontotemporal dementia. In comparison, about 1 million people in the U.S. have Parkinson's disease, and about 7 million have Alzheimer's disease. PSP is slightly more common than ALS, but ALS is more widely known. It's also easier to diagnose and often affects younger people. More than 50% of the people with PSP are initially misdiagnosed with Parkinson's disease. The two diseases start out with similar symptoms. However, 2 to 3 years in, symptoms begin to change and progress at an alarming rate. So what does the future hold for PSP? For those of us affected, many had symptoms for 2 to 3 years before diagnosis. My goal is educating as many people as possible. Medical professionals need tools for earlier diagnosis. By recognizing PSP sooner, patients and families will have more time to spend together. Clinical trials are ongoing, but finding participants who meet the diagnosis criteria is pretty difficult. We benefit from the trials for similar diseases like Alzheimer's or ALS, but so far there's little evidence that these breakthroughs will help with PSP. We still remain hopeful. Exercise, proper diet, and the ability to adapt to physical and mental limitations are extremely important to our quality of life. Advocating for yourself or for your loved one's care is critical. If you aren't comfortable with your medical team, seek out a teaching hospital or a research center that support comprehensive care for rare neurological diseases. The wait might be long, but be relentless in that pursuit. You can help me and thousands of others around the world by sharing this video. No one walks alone.